Thank you, Handel. Good evening and welcome to tonight's regional news. We now start with a story from Jamaica. A day after Prime Minister Andrew Holness promised an economic response to the outbreak of the coronavirus in Jamaica, the government outlined a $25 billion fiscal stimulus package to lessen the impact the COVID-19 will have on businesses and workers. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark told the House of Representatives that pumping $25 billion into the economy at a time of uncertainty like this helps to support economic activity in the country. The banking sector, he said, has volunteered to forego the reduction of the asset, thereby adding $3 million to the $7 million COVID-19 contingency. The fiscal measures being implemented includes the special consumption tax on approximately 100,000 liters of alcohol for use in the making of sanitizers that will be donated to the National Health Fund, and the Ministry of Health is being waived. Customs duty on importation of masks, gloves, hand sanitizers, and liquid hand soap will also be waived for a 90-day period. Additionally, the government is currently in discussions with commercial banks for them to provide temporary cash flow support to businesses and consumers in affected sectors. He also stated that the government is finalizing the details on the implementation of the COVID Allocation of Resources for Employees CARE program, which will provide temporary cash transfer to businesses in targeted sectors and will facilitate temporary cash transfer to support employees who lost their employment due to the COVID-19 virus. Also, the poor and vulnerable will be supported with special COVID-related grants. And now for news from Brazil. The coronavirus outbreak hammered Brazil on Wednesday, crushing local markets, infecting more members of the country's political elite, and prompting loud protests against President Jair Bolsonaro. Bolsonaro's national security advisor, the mines and energy minister, the head of the Senate, and 11 others in his entourage tested positive for the virus on Wednesday, as the death toll rose to 4, with 428 people infected. Bolsonaro has come under mounting criticism for his lax handling of the outbreak, which he initially labeled as fantasy. Bolsonaro's son, Eduardo, also waded into a diplomatic spat with China, Brazil's top trade partner, after he likened China's role in the coronavirus outbreak, stating in a tweet that, I quote, "It's China's fault," end of quote. His comments, which echoed those of Trump, sparked an angry response from the Chinese embassy, which said that he had contracted a, I quote, "mental virus," end of quote, while in the United States. With criticism mounting, the president held an afternoon news conference with ministers all wearing masks to announce emergency measures to maintain the virus and buttress the economy, including assistance for poorer families. Financial markets were rattled by the fast-spreading virus that causes the COVID-19 respiratory disease. Sao Paulo Governor João Doria recommended the closure of shopping malls, while Sao Paulo City Hall ordered commercial businesses and establishments to close from Friday until April 5th. Airline Association AMEL said the sudden halt in travel was the worst crisis ever faced by Brazil's aviation sector, as domestic flights fell 50% and international bookings were down by 85%. Bolsonaro said Brazil was considering closing all of its land borders. And finally, in tonight's regional news, we turn to a rather interesting story from Jamaica. A 38-year-old farmer from Betheltown, Westmoreland, said that he was beaten and thrown off a bus on Monday after he sneezed multiple times and was accused of carrying the deadly COVID-19. Garnet Blair said that his body is swollen and sore all over from the strong thrashing he got from an angry mob. He said that after carrying goods to the Charles Gordon Market in Montego Bay, he took a minibus back home. The man stated that he sneezed after his nose felt stuffy, which caused an alarm with other commuters. Blair said that he told them that he had always been troubled by sinus problems, but after he sneezed twice more, hell broke loose. He stated that he was beaten severely after persons accused him of attempting to spread the coronavirus. He said that he was pushed from the bus and had to walk more than 10 miles to his home. He is vowing that he will not travel again until the COVID-19 threat is over. And that was all for tonight's regional news. Thank you for joining, and back to you, Handel.